What's the time cap? 12? 12 minutes. All right, time cap's 12 minutes. Oh, is it easy? Andrew says it's easy. I don't know about that. Welcome back, everybody, to some daily content where we're gonna watch me suffer through a workout. It's gonna be awesome, and this one's gonna be a straight leg death. All right, let's get started on the workout, and then we'll talk about what it is. We're off in 3, 2, 1, getting it. What are we doing here? We are doing a 12-minute time cap, like I mentioned, okay? 12-minute time cap. We are doing 1,000-meter Bike Erg straight into 24 box step-ups at 24 inches with one 100-pound dumbbell. Back to the bike for 1,000-meter Bike Erg. Then back to the dumbbell, but this time instead of step-ups, we are doing goblet squats. So just a goblet squat with a 100-pound dumbbell in the front rack. Back to the bike for the final time for 1,000 meters, and then over to the rings to 24 burpees to rings. And the rings are about at a 6-inch touch. I mean, to be honest, most of the time, I mean, if you have the option of setting your own rings up, you know, like if you don't go to an affiliate and you own your own rings, like in a barn or in like your gym, most of the time your rings will probably be set up at about 6 inches above your reach, because that's the closest they can pretty much get to the ground without dragging your feet on the ground when you point your toes. So just as a quick FYI and public service announcement, now you know. All right, so this workout, like I mentioned, starts with 1,000-meter Bike Erg, and like we know, if you've used the Bike Erg before, comparatively to the row or the ski erg, when you bike at a per hour, so the rower usually gives you a pace per 500 meters. The Bike Erg gives you a pace per 1,000 meters. The reason for that being it cycles. I mean, you can move a little bit faster on the bike than a rower because you have 2 different pedals rather than just one chain. So it does hypothetically bike at a twice as fast per meter pace. So therefore, if you ever watch or see me say 1,000 meters on a Bike Erg, and you might compare it to a row and be like, wow, that's gonna take like 3 minutes. No, it's twice as fast. All right, so we biked at around a 150 to start it off. That's not super fast. I mean, comparatively, you can compare it directly 1-to-1 to a 500-meter row pace. So that's a 150 row pace, which isn't stellar by anyone's means. The goal of that being, I knew that these 24 box step-ups at 24 inches with a 100-pound dumbbell was gonna blow really bad. So I decided I'm gonna take the bike a little bit slower because I don't wanna gas myself at the beginning of the workout, especially considering we're doing, this is all legs. I mean, except for the burpees. I don't even know what you consider burpees. I mean, I think if you consider what does burpees exercise on your body, it really exercises your soul, pretty much. That's a good definition. Anyway, so it's mostly legs, and we're talking Bike Erg, step-ups, goblet squats with 2 more Bike Ergs thrown there. That's leg, with one final movement being soul workout. So I didn't want to bike at hypothetically a 135. I didn't want to bike at a 135 and be like, yeah, I crushed it. I'm crushing this first 1,000-meter bike, and then I blow up and I can't even do a box step-up anymore. Or I have to break the box step-ups really, really badly. The goal here was not to break anything as much as I possibly could, and then try and send it as much as I could on the final bike and in the final burpee. So let's kind of, between us, now we know that I biked my first one in a 150, let's kind of look at, I started at 330 there. So let's kind of look at my second and third bike. My goal would be, hey, my first bike, a little bit slow. Hopefully my second bike isn't terribly much slower. Maybe it stays the same. But then my goal in this workout would be that my third and final bike, knowing that I'm nearing the end and I just have burpees left, is gonna be a little bit faster because I have something more to give. So if I started at 330, we're 30 seconds into this bike, just so you guys know. Okay, so this is the point of the conversation where we talk about, I'm gonna write down my 330 real fast so I know. Point of the conversation where we talk about scaling options if you're doing this workout. First of all, if you're a female doing this workout, it's not considered scaling. Obviously, you're not gonna do a 100-pound dumbbell. I think usually the sub is a 75-pound dumbbell. Correct me if I'm wrong. And all your reps will stay the same, even the bike. Like, nothing should change for you females. I think 12 minutes is pretty generous. Like he mentioned in the beginning, I might have acted like I'm not gonna finish in 12 minutes, but 12 minutes is pretty generous when you look at this workout. And so if you're a female, the only thing I would change is a 75-pound dumbbell. Now, if you're doing this workout and you're like, wow, I need to scale this workout's too tough, that's completely fine. Or if you don't have a dumbbell, completely fine. Or a biker, completely fine. Let's talk about it. So, okay, just as a heads up, we are nearing the 1 minute and 30 second mark because we're at 5 minutes on the clock. So, if you're doing this workout, let's say you don't have a Bike Erg, totally fine. If you don't have a Bike Erg, possibly use an air assault bike. I know an air assault bike has the option of going to meters. In the option, you can change it to meters or kilometers. All right, so I biked at a 147 there, so it was a little bit faster. So that's pretty solid. So if you have the option to use an air assault bike, do it, or a Rogue Echo bike, do it. That's a good sub. I'm not going to speak on if the meters are easier or harder. I will say that with the ability of using your hands on an air assault bike, if I'm using the Bike Erg, it's just lower body, it's just legs, just my 2 feet. But if I have an air assault bike, I have the option of adding wattage and power and adding more meters to it using my hands. So it might be a little bit faster, but it might be harder because you're using your hands. I don't know, I'm not an expert on that. I know my company, Midwest Made, we keep a conversion chart available for everyone who does these workouts because we know that not everyone has a Bike Erg, and that's totally fine. But we keep a conversion chart available so that if you have a Rogue Echo bike or an air assault bike, you can convert it easily. So first option is use an air assault bike. So let's say I start at 620, give or take. That way we can kind of keep track. It's easy to do some math. So other options, if you don't have an air assault bike and you do have an Echo bike, a rower is fine. It would be a 500 meter row in this case. Not 1,000. And a ski erg. I mean, obviously you probably have a rower before you have a ski erg. I'd recommend using a rower before a ski erg, obviously. Dumbbell wise, for scaling options, if you don't have a 100-pound dumbbell, one option is using 2 53-pound kettlebells. That would be really difficult though, because you're gonna want, it's nice to have that extra hand out available for kind of like leverage on the box to step up. So it might be really difficult to stand up with 2 53s, and plus it's 106 pounds, not 100. So if you don't have a 100-pound dumbbell, that is an option. If you just can't step up with a 100-pound dumbbell for males or a 75-pound dumbbell for females, I recommend just going down to the next available weight for the next gender. So for instance, if you're a male and you can't do 100, do a 75. If you're a female and you can't do a 75, do a 50, and that's completely fine. The goal is that you keep moving at a steady rate. I understand that you might break it, and that's fine, but the intensity and the goal of the workout isn't in such a way that you break the 24 box step ups into like 8 sets of 3. Like if it's too heavy, just drop the weight and keep the intensity, and maybe only break it once would be kind of the goal. So maybe like if you can be like, oh, I can do 14 and 10, perfect, then stick with that weight. So the goal is to not break it so much that it's just like pathetic and it's taking you forever and you keep dropping the dumbbell down and wasting time. All right, so if I start at 620, I am now 144, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So yeah, a 149. I think I started a little early, so it's more like a 145. So that's pretty solid. I'm getting a little bit faster, I think, on every bike. And now the goal of it was, okay, I'm gonna send it now and send it on these burpees, which is the goal here. To send it near the end. You will notice I'm doing my burpees from my fists. That's not a pro tip. It's not like a, hey, pro tip, guys, use your fists for burpees. My wrist has been bothering me a lot recently. I think I've got like a little bit of tendonitis in it, and so I haven't been able to do a lot of movements because of it. Handstand walking is really difficult. Handstand push is really difficult because of that flexion, and then I haven't been able to snatch in a few weeks just because of my wrist. So here I am doing it on my fists, and the reason being is I don't have to place my hand like this, like this pretty much. Instead I can place them like this, and it doesn't hurt my wrist whatsoever. So pretty solid pro tip strategy. Use your fist, pound the ground. All right, so we're nearing the end here, I think. Should be finishing up pretty quickly for 24. There we go. A 9:14, which is a little bit faster than the 12-minute time cap. But sometimes we do workouts with an aggressive time cap. Sometimes they're not very aggressive at all. Just kind of depends on the workout. I don't like those goblet squats at all. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to watch a video similar to this, click right here. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya!